Welcome to everybody who's here. This is all about the training on 7 mistakes to avoid when building health and vitality. And it's the first live stream that I've done in my new group, Feel Better, Heal Better, which is all about going from sick and stressed to creating a thriving and healthy life on your terms. And what I mean by that is we're going to look at ways to specifically address symptoms in your life, all symptoms, whether that's stress, which is a symptom, not a cause of symptoms, as it's often referred to, but it's a symptom in its own right, or physical or emotional or mental symptoms in your life. That's what the group is all about, and we're looking forward to sharing some trainings on all of those subjects with you in the upcoming weeks, months, and hopefully years that this group will grow so that everyone can thrive and have a healthy life. So I started this group because one of the things that, I'm really interested in health. I'm a Meta Health integrated health coach, EFT trainer, matrix reimprinting practitioner, lots of other bits and bobs that I've picked up along the way. But health and enjoyment of life are really my passions. And one of the things that people often say to me is how much energy I seem to have. And so, it's not that I'm the absolute fittest and healthiest guy in the world, but I do have a lot of what is called vitality. So I'm just going to define a couple of things. One of them is health. In health, I'm looking at really a level of equilibrium in your life, in your physicality, in your emotional state, and in your mental state as well. Thanks for all the comments, guys. Just wanted to say I'm going to do a Q&A at the end if anything comes up, but really appreciate you lot all being here. It's fantastic. So so looking at health is a state of equilibrium, which is at a good level for your life. Vitality is something different, and it's something which has had many different names. So it might be known as chi in the Eastern representation, could have been known as life force, mana. And it's just, for me, a sort of real joy and enjoyment of life, which will carry you through so many things. So whether you are having a symptom of stress at that time in your life, or whether you are having actual physical symptoms, if you've got high vitality, it can take you through even the toughest sort of physical symptoms in your life a lot better than if your life force is low and weak. And it's obvious, it just makes sense. So if you've got this sort of lust for life and a passion and a real, a purpose, whatever your purpose might be, whatever you've decided that to be in your life, these things can all really give you a lot of resilience and push you through. So that's what the group's all about. That's what the trainings are going to be about coming up. And in this training, I'm now going to talk about 7 mistakes. There's probably many, many more that you can make, but 7 mistakes that I've seen and really thought about people doing when they're trying to build their health and their vitality. So, the first one, now this is a biggie, and this is something that I see all the time, is that people focus entirely on the physical, and they think that the right thing to do is to go on an extreme diet, cutting out whatever, cutting out gluten, cutting out dairy, cutting out meat, cutting out all alcohol, cutting out coffee, maybe cutting out things, just like, they've heard they've got to cut out everything, got to have an extreme diet. And that's one aspect of it. And the other one is extreme exercise routines. So they feel that they have, in order to get healthy and have a high level of vitality, that they're going to need to, really, work their arse off, basically, doing an extreme exercise routine daily. And so these things are the sort of standard responses to stress and often physical symptoms as well. Notwithstanding, of course, there's the medical side of things, which we won't go into today, but these are perhaps alternatives, but perhaps the more mainstream alternative things that people do. And of course, diet, exercise, quality of sleep, etc., are very, they are very important things. But just think about this. If you've got a stress, something that's caused you, if you've got stress in your life, that's not caused by a physical thing usually. That's caused by an emotional situation that's happened. Could be a specific event that's happened, or a series of events, or being overwhelmed at work, or something like that. So it's something emotional. So while there's dietary things and exercise, they can support you. Of course, moving your body is a great thing. It builds up endorphins in your body. It gets you feeling good. Really hot in here. I'm in Spain. I'm roasting, but it's the root. It's not the cause. So trying to treat physical symptoms or stress exclusively with diet and physical situations, you're only coming at the problem from the lowest level. And there's many, many more sort of layers to what's going on. I've identified them in a guide that I've written called The 7 Pillars of Vitality, of which the physicality is only one. I'll go through them all in another training, but this one's about the mistakes. So looking at those physical things, such as, could be extreme fast, extreme exercise, etc. Now, all of these things have value. And I'd say that, people who do heal themselves from just using diet and exercise, I just got a feeling that a lot of that will be because they feel great about the fact that they've stuck to this diet and they really believe in it. So their belief is part of what's actually enabling them to heal as well. Now, that's fantastic if they really believe in it, but some people come into these things perhaps not really wanting to give up the foods that they love, not wanting to not be able to have a glass of wine or whatever. And so the second mistake that I see people having is deprivation, and making themselves feeling deprived because they feel that they have to do this strict diet or this strict regime. And this is something which can, unfortunately, being deprived while you're trying to do what's the right thing for your body by following an alkaline diet, which can be really good for you at a certain time, or not going out with your friends and spending all your time really just looking after yourself. For deprivation, it's one you've really got to look out for. And the reason deprivation can cause so many problems is, I just want to talk about what it's doing physically in your body. If you used to really like, say a bit of chocolate or something like that, and suddenly, and it's not a craving or a compulsion, which has its own emotional problem attached, but it's it's something that you enjoy, and you suddenly, because you're on an extreme diet, you can't have it at all. Now, the deprivation from that actually causes an emotion, which is a physical response in your body, which then causes a chemical reaction. So it will release a different hormonal mix in your body. So you're starting to get these emotions of feeling deprived. And obviously that's not a particularly healthy state to be in. It's not putting your body into an optimal healing state. So if you do feel deprived, it's not about then gorging or whatever it is that you fancy, or going out and having 15 beers or whatever like that. But, you might, even if you are following with all the best reasons, some sort of fairly strict regimen in your life, then it's good to treat yourself in a while so you don't feel deprived. And also, so you don't feel, if you've got this built in, you also aren't going to feel guilty when you fall off the wagon. So if you were to fall off the wagon and, say you had a bit of chocolate or you had a glass of wine, feeling deprived and feeling guilty about it are really damaging for you. If you can feel good and grateful and appreciative of those things as well, then that's going to be really powerful for you. And it's going to put you in much more of a healing state than if you're being really strict with yourself all the way through. Okay, cheers, Kai. So yeah, another thing. So point number 3. This is a biggie, and you see this all the time, and it's very logical that people would think this way because they are conditioned this way to feel that they have to look for something outside of themselves. So people are always looking for a cure, and this is if you've got symptoms. It's a cure. I need a cure. What cures this? What cures that? And so there are many great things out there. For example, CBD oil, which is a really good thing you can look into, for example. Lots of herbal supplements and things like that. But these are things that are outside of you. And what you're really looking for is, instead of looking for a cure, is looking to learn how to self-heal, because your most powerful healing ability comes from within. And it's if you've got a high level of vitality, and you address the root causes of things that are going on in your life, then you are actually able to, really resolve the root cause of the symptoms that are happening in your body. And that's just great. You can then use things like supplements to support you, whatever supplements are right for whatever condition. Even if it's, even if you're in stress, something that's going to be calming, these things can be supportive. But don't look for a cure outside of yourself. Think of it as, I've got an unlimited capacity to heal. How can I heal myself? Looking for, I'm healing myself. I'm not looking for someone else to heal me. I'm healing myself, and I'll look for the support to do that, whether that's guidance or, in nutrition, emotion, mental health, whatever. All of these things, great to support you. But the core thing is, you've got the unlimited capacity to heal yourself. And if you have symptoms happening in your life, a real biggie that we see a lot is people start identifying with their symptoms. And this is very, very dangerous. People become their condition, the condition that they actually have. But I actually made a mistake about 5 seconds ago. I said their condition. It's not your condition. If let's say there's cancer cells in your body, well, everyone has cancer cells in their body, and it's just cells doing abnormal things at a specific time for a specific reason. But often the body just resolves them. Let's say it's ME, fibromyalgia. This is a very common one that people say they actually become the symptom, and you see it in the support groups, which, again, they've got a purpose. But these support groups, people start identifying with the ME. You start saying things like, it can't be cured, you just got to live with it, got to find a new way. And of course, your body's trying to tell you something, but it's not your symptom. The symptoms are things that you are experiencing for a specific reason. It's because your body's trying to evolve from or adapt to a specific event or situation that's happened in your life, or a series of situations which have caused this sort of framework of symptoms. And once you understand the root cause, then whether it's the stress or the symptoms in your life, then you are able to actually, make a difference and start resolving that. So that's, fantastic thing to look at, is don't identify with the symptoms. Don't suffer from what's known as the woundology, where you really become the wound, become the issue. So that's number 4. Okay, lack of patience. This is a biggie in any area of life. People think that things have to happen now. They find start looking into things in their life in terms of the treatments or processes that they can go through, and they expect miracles. And miracles can happen. They can happen over time. So just making sure that you give whatever processes that you're doing, however you want to heal yourself, give yourself time, give yourself rest. If you're in that stage of having a lot of symptoms in your life and you're feeling drained and tired, there's a reason for that. It's not permanent. It doesn't have to be permanent. And, you know, it's good. It can be good to rest in those times. If you're really stressed, you know, it could be, you know, these things are going to pass as well. And remembering that stress is a symptom, not a cause, you can just understand that it's from something else. So give your body, give your mind, give your emotions time and the support that they need to get through things. So along with that, sixth thing that I've identified is forgetting how you used to feel. And I mean this in terms of, as you're going through this process with patients, it could go on for months, your return to a high level of vitality and optimum health for you at that time. So it could go on for a while, and you could get really frustrated. At that stage, it's good to remember how bad you felt when you were really in the depths of whatever it was that you had going on. Or it might be that you're feeling really tired and you think, oh, this really isn't working. But that tiredness could be part of your return. That could be part of your healing, the second part of the process from a lot of stress. The stress might have gone on for 10 years. You might actually have felt quite good during a lot of those 10 years because your body's producing lots of adrenaline, keeping you going, keeping you in the can do mode of stress. And you need that recovery time when you feel down. But when you're remembering those good stress times, which were unsustainable for your body, then, you know, just think about, you know, yes, I did feel like that. I did feel good. I could go out partying a lot, but I always had these racing thoughts. I couldn't get to sleep. So there's always those sides of things. So if you're going through a difficult time in your self-healing journey, you know, don't give up. Remember that it's time, you know, just remember remember where you've come from, how far you've come in terms of how well you're moving forwards, and be grateful for the small things. You know, if you were in a state where it was hard to get out of bed, being able to go for a walk around the block, even if that's taken you a few months to get there, is something to celebrate, not to go, oh, you know, I can't, you know, I used to be able to run half a marathon or whatever. You can now, you know, you've now got this ability to do something that you couldn't. So you're always moving forwards, not trying to go back to where you came from. And I guess one that comes with that, very common is, and this is especially common when people start to wake up to how powerful they are to create their reality, their physical health, their emotional health, and everything, is beating themselves up because they start thinking, yes, because I've created this, I'm to blame. It's my fault. So blaming yourself for what's happened, that's, of course, it's toxic because you're going to feel guilt, you're going to feel shame, and all of those create those physical, chemical, hormonal reactions in your body, but also the emotional and energetic ones that are just going to maintain these states in your life. So yeah, something to move away from, really, I would say, is beating yourself up. And yeah, what was I saying on that? Yes, it's because you are, come on, brain, activate. Right, yeah, when you're beating yourself up, you're thinking that because you've created this in your life, you're to blame. Well, it's not actually the situation. When you've got a symptom, it is your body is carrying out a biological, intelligent adaptation to something that's going on in your life. And it's subconscious, it's not conscious, it's not something you've done deliberately. It could even have its roots in something that's happened to your ancestors. It could be an epigenetic factor that's being expressed through you in order to come up and be healed. So there's absolutely, you know, there's no blame for this. It's based on beliefs that you might have formed when you were 6, beliefs that you might have formed when you were 2, beliefs that you might have even formed in the womb, or, as I said, even earlier than that. And the great thing is that these symptoms are, you know, they're actually signposts that you can use to change your life to really being, you know, more about who you are. So by the time you get physical symptoms, your body's screaming at you in some way. Now, often we heal these things, often we heal them, and you go through the healing cycle, which I will talk about in another training. But you go through the healing cycle naturally. But when you get stuck, it means there's something that your body's really telling you that needs to be resolved. And it's, you know, it doesn't have to be a torturous process. It's about self-inquiry, finding, you know, finding out about, you know, who you really are. So, you know, it's a wonderful process to go through to learn how to self-heal at all the different levels. Now, I've identified 7 in my guide of 7 pillars of vitality. I'll post a link to that underneath this. But you know, I've also got this community now, Feel Better, Heal Better, and you know, I'd love you to take part. I'd like to thank everyone who's here. I'm sure there might be many more mistakes that you can make while building health and vitality in your life, which is, you know, not being attached to dogma and being open to the fact that you really can self-heal and, you know, recover from this stuff is going to be great for you. So again, I just ask now if anyone's got any questions about that, anything to do with what we talked about, specific self-healing questions. You download the guide, 7 Pillars of Vitality, on my front page at my website, eftnow.co.uk. So awesome. Thanks all of you for showing up. You feel free to add any questions that come up in the comments under the replays, which will be available in my group, Feel Better, Heal Better. And yeah, there'll be another live stream same time next week. So see you then.